special board meeting. Date is Tuesday, December 12th, 2023, 7 o'clock p.m. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason? Here. Mrs. List? Here. Ms. Lott? Here. Mrs. Motley? Here. Ms. Stern? Mr. Whitcomb?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
We have a quorum. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On to item 2, board minute approval. If there are no questions, can I get a motion to accept the minutes for the November 14th, 2023 special and closed meeting?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mrs. Motley? Aye. Mrs. List? Stay. Ms. Lott? Aye. Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye. On to reports. Superintendent's report. Dr. Sikora.
Thank you, Mr. Whitcomb. Well, my report is a lot of celebration today, so start out with, since we won't be together until after the holidays, on behalf of the whole district, just wish our students, our staff, community members, board members a happy holiday and a happy new year with the season coming and fastly approaching. Also, today we are celebrating Mary List. Happy birthday. She is chosen to, on her birthday, spend the night with us here at the board meeting, so appreciate that. And then the main event, and it's really an honor and privilege to be able to highlight one of our board members tonight, Miss Evelyn Gleason. For those of you that do not know, Evelyn has been a board member since 1993, so crossed the 30-year threshold. She has served in all of the executive roles of a board, secretary, vice president, and president. And I have to read it off because the list is so impressive. So in terms of her 30-year tenure, been an active participant on the following committees: insurance, life safety, buildings and grounds, negotiations, planning, goals and curriculum, policy, community relations, scope, class size, finance, parent-teacher, student advisory, personnel, technology, negotiations and labor management, and student services. Personally, professionally speaking, it's been an honor to serve for you and the board. With your presence on the board has meant a lot to me. So on behalf of the rest of our team, student staff of District 228, got a little token of our appreciation. It is in the form of a rock because to me, you've been the rock of our district for over 30 years. So just want to congratulate Ms. Evelyn Gleason tonight. All for me tonight. If you can stick around a little bit afterwards, we got a couple special people I want a picture with you too. So.
Thank you, Dr. Sikora. Moving on to principal reports.
Hi everyone. Happy holidays. We are excited to celebrate with our staff on Friday at our holiday luncheon. We've had lots of fun festivities going around our building. Our Bremen marching band just recently participated in the annual Midlothian Santa Parade on December 2nd. They're also going to be hosting our winter band and choir concert tomorrow night. So if you're available, Bremen Main Gym, 6:30 tomorrow night. That will be going on. Our yearbook program is going to be hosting a sip and shop prior to that. So from about 2 to 6 tomorrow afternoon, there's going to be kind of a book fair and some different activities going on. If you want to come by and enjoy a cup of hot cocoa and make a last-minute Christmas purchase, maybe it's not last minute, I don't know if you've done all your shopping yet, but that's going to be going on, hosted by our yearbook to raise some funds for their program prior to the concert. Our mathletes finished third at the SSC conference tournament recently, so we're wrapping up some of our competitive SSC activities. And then we're looking forward to second semester. It's hard to believe second semester is just around the corner after the holidays. We have a number of student recognition celebrations planned for when our kids come back from winter break. So we'll be recognizing our students that have had great model behavior at our Braves Bash that's going to be mid-January. We also will be hosting our Semester 1 Honors Breakfast, where teachers nominate students. We honor our Honors with Distinction students, as well as our top 5-star point earners. So as we're tracking all of the involvement and participation in 5-star, those students will also be recognized. Lastly, we'll be recognizing our CCR students, so those that are on track to achieve any sort of college career readiness scholar status. We like to get them back in January, talk about where they're at in terms of their metrics, if they've hit attendance and GPA and what they need to do, how many more days they can miss to still be eligible. We go through all of that and recognize them with a breakfast as well. Lastly, 8th grade orientation for us is January 17th. We're moving to a little bit more of an open house model, so we're gonna have a lot of our elective programs on display that night, teachers coming in, working with students, showing our freshmen around so they can get a taste of what we have to offer before they pick their courses in January for the class of 2028. This will also be my last board meeting. I will not see you guys in January. I'm looking forward to some time off with family. I appreciate the flexibility to do that. With baby coming in January, Matt Meany will be filling in for me, so you will see his face in January. Thanks, everyone.
Good evening, Susan's greetings from Oak Forest High School. Our winter sports kicked off the season with a couple of nice wins. Our boys basketball team, JV and freshmen, both won some tournaments. We had the Ottawa tournament by JV, and then freshmen won the Revis Thanksgiving tournament. Our girls wrestling team, they won the Larkin Royal Rumble in early December, and we're watching for some great things with our girls wrestling team this season. We're in the holiday spirit over at Oak Forest. We had the Madrigal Dinner this past weekend, which is a great event, dinner theater and musical. They had packed houses on both Saturday and Sunday. Thanks to all of you who attended that. Our Key Club is really in the holiday spirit with the coat drive. They've loaded 2 trucks already with over 100 coats, which they're donating to Together We Cope as they're getting back on their feet after their issues with the fire back at Together We Cope last year. Interact Toy Drive is going on. They've already collected over 150 games, and that will continue. Those are all donated to the Pediatric Oncology Treasure Chest Fund. And then, of course, we always participate in the Oak Forest City Hall Trim a Tree. If you've seen any of the posting on our social media accounts, we had over 14 clubs and activities, and there were teams there donating their own Christmas trees. Tonight, we actually are hosting, and they're probably getting ready to wrap up as we speak here, the first ever District 228 esports tournament that's hosted at Oak Forest High School tonight. It's actually being live streamed, and we have some streamcasters. If you remember the presentation from the esports group, those streamcasters who are calling out all the action of what's happening on those games, those students are actually from Hillcrest and Bremen streamcasting that tonight. So if we're out of here fast and you get home in time, you can check out that first ever. So just want to wish you a great holiday break, and thank you, and we'll see you next semester, unlike Jessica.
Good evening from the Titans. We too, as Jane said, are definitely in the holiday spirit, and with the concerts going on and the food drives and all of that good stuff taking place, I'm going to kind of put that on the back burner for a second, because I'd like to share with you a little bit of a different story. So, when our students come to us, obviously we look forward to teaching them all kinds of subject matter and content and all of that, but we also hope that they learn a few life lessons along the way, and one of those being gratitude. So it was and how do we know that happened? Well, I'm going to give you an example. So it was just before the school year started this year. 3 of our 2018 graduates, Jay Ply, Sean Ford, I almost mixed them together, and Tim Moriarty came to me, and they wanted to pitch an idea. And these are 3 of our finest Titans that walked our halls in 2018, involved in everything, came from 3 very hardworking local families, and they wanted to share their appreciation for the fact that they were awarded so many local scholarships, some of the smaller scholarships that allowed them to attend some pretty big universities. University of Illinois, University of Notre Dame, and Loyola University. All 3 of them kind of knew that Without a little bit of financial help, those dreams may not have come to fruition. But the three of these young men now sit across from me at my table, and they wanted to give back to afford the same opportunity to new graduates that they were given when they graduated in 2018, because they knew how much it meant to put every dime together to further their college experiences. They put together a fundraiser. It was the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It was called the Titan Toss, Bag Toss. It was at a local place here in Tinley. One of our very committed chamber members offered up north in Maple to us on a Saturday. And I say us, I participated, I really did nothing. These three young men coordinated everything. They advertised, they got the mayor of Tinley Park involved. It was a great turnout, great spirit, great event. In 2 games, I only scored 1 point. I'll get over that. But the fact of the matter is, they raised a little over $3,000 that day, and they're putting together the scholarship application of how the students will apply for these scholarships and how they're gonna award these on senior honors night. Completely their own thought, their own idea. They came and pitched it. Even the day of, I was looking to help run it, and they were like, oh no, we got this, we got this. And it was just a pretty amazing day. So, sometimes, we look at grades and we see that they go on to college, or we see that they become successful in their field of choice. To see that level of gratitude from 3 young men who walked our halls not that long ago to give back to their fellow Titans knows that we did something right. So every single teacher at Tinley Park High School who had a hand in educating these 3 young men should be very proud of themselves, and you should be proud of them as well. So Merry Christmas.
Hi guys, happy holidays. Evelyn, congratulations and thank you. It's very impressive. Just a couple quick things to piggyback, I guess, off of Tinley Park High School. Another alumni, Kelsey Nealon, is over with us at the Delta Academy program. And she just wrapped up her first session. We started piloting a new program. We're gonna offer different credentials to students while they're over with us, and she was able to get certified herself this first semester and taught a CPR class to 6 of our students last week. It was very well received. We actually had one young man who is the one that she said that if given the situation, that's who she would choose to come and help resuscitate her, has actually now expressed a sincere desire to continue on with this and is looking at becoming an EMT and moving forward with that. So we're going to continue to push that out second semester. We have a couple of dates in mind to try and tailor this to as many students who are interested as possible. It will not be forced. It's just going to be an opportunity for students while they are here with us. So that has been pretty exciting. In addition, tomorrow will be our last day that we are wrapping up our live taught art class that we piloted this year with Jenny Reed. The response so far has been great. We have a lot of new artwork to hang up in our hallways. The students have had a very positive response to this so far, in lieu of just simply completing it on ingenuity and learning a new skill that a lot of them admit that they didn't know that they could actually become artists themselves. Continuing on with our creative streak over at Delta that I take no part of, as I'm not very creative in the arts, but Christina Botica, who is over with us now this year with our TEP program, wanted to pilot a new endeavor for her students, and so they started a card making business. She launched it, a soft launch with Thanksgiving cards, just to practice, get the kids in a routine, see how it went, and then they pushed out a Christmas card sale 2 weeks ago, and they sold over 500 cards in 2 days, and they had to close it down. So please be on the lookout for that. You guys will be receiving cards for the holiday from our TEP program, just thanking you for the opportunity to be working in our space and to be working with Ms. Botica. If you haven't checked it out, please come see the new space. They're doing a great job, and obviously she's really focused on trying to provide them with a lot of new opportunities. And then finally, I passed out invitations to all of you in an effort to try something new this year. Instead of doing mini celebrations every month, we are going to have our first student recognition luncheon in January for all of our students of the month that are going to be both former and current students who are within our program. They're students who've been nominated by our staff for having exemplary work, whether it be attendance, going above and beyond, doing something kind for others, or simply just hitting their goals for the month and showing some pretty impressive stats while they're here with us. So we'll be having that in January. You're all welcome to come. We'd love to see you there. And until then, have a great holiday, and I'll see you guys next year.
So we have a presentation and somewhat of an announcement by Mrs. Teresa Kelsey and our Ecology Club, who will be up in a moment. But before they come up, I wanted to speak on Mrs. Kelsey. What you'll see is her going above and beyond, as she's so often done for us here at Hillcrest. She was just asked to present at a national conference, the Council for Exceptional Children in San Antonio in March. And earlier this fall, she was nominated by the Illinois State Board of Education as one of those who excel in the Teacher of the Year. I'm going to read the excerpt that the nomination, the submitter, put in, because it kind of encapsulates who Mrs. Kelsey is. My son has autism. He becomes very anxious when meeting new people, large crowds, and loud noises. Once schools reopened for in-person learning, my son became very anxious with the thoughts of being around so many people. The noises, being able to understand the assignments, etc. Elijah, my son, is an IEP student. I expressed my concerns with the appropriate school staff, and through meetings, it was determined that Elijah would benefit from being a homebound student. Mrs. Kelsey jumped on board and continued to be his teacher, which put Elijah's as well as my mind at ease. Mrs. Kelsey is a one-of-a-kind teacher. She teaches from her heart, understanding, patience, respects the pace at which he can learn, and will make adjustments as needed. Mrs. Kelsey makes herself available after school hours and on weekends if needed. There are not enough words to express how awesome she is. To have a teacher who truly cares about her students and their future is unfortunately rare these days. Mrs. Kelsey has made learning so comfortable for Elijah. He's now a senior, and thank God she will finish the journey with us. Mrs. Kelsey is truly an incredible educator. So like I said, you'll see with her announcement and her students, the Ecology Club announcement, what she does around here to go above and beyond. So come on, guys.
I'm actually here just to hit the button. Go ahead.
Great. Good evening, everyone. We are a few of the members of the Hillcrest Ecology Club, and we are incredibly grateful for the opportunity to tell you all about what we do and our values of this club.
So they don't know about this yet, so tell them
Oh, right, so-
what we accomplished.
So recently we have reached the level 1 Arboretum status, which in this presentation we will cover what it means to, have this status, what it means to us, and like the process that we have to go through. Great, so what is Ecology Club? In our club, we do way more than just study plants. We study our environments in a very hands-on way. We care about our environment, and we go above and beyond to keep it clean and healthy. We do this by going outside, and learning about our environment, and like the fragile ecosystems that reside in it.
I cannot see this from this far.
Okay, go ahead, honey.
Please go on. How we became an arboretum. In 2019, Ms. Kelsey met a member of the Merton Arboretum through attending a field trip at the Water Reclamation Department. In October of 2019 through 2019, 2021, and 2022, and 2023, the Ecology Club has planted 50 trees each year for a total of 60 trees. Every year, we have been allowed to take a field trip to the Martin Arboretum when where we got a behind the scenes look at how the community purchase worked. It was at our our last field trip that we learned of our opportunity of becoming a level 1 operator.
So, now you guys may be wondering, what did we need to become an arboretum? So, for starters, we needed to have at least 25 different species of native trees and or shrubs on our property. Each tree or shrub had to be tagged and identified with either an electric system or a physical tag, and we must host one community event each year, which we'll describe later on in this presentation. You can find most of our trees on Curio XYZ, but once the Arboretum is done with their external site, all of our trees will be located on their website. And this spring, we will be tagging all of our trees with physical plaques.
So our yearly celebration is going to be on Arbor Day. After we've now done this, we will be discussing what that's going to look like. So it will be on Arbor Day and everyone will be invited.
Statistics. We have 101 tagged trees on campus. Ecology Club has planted 60 of those trees. The most trees we have planted is yew species. The least trees we have planted is American elm. There's only 2 other schools who have this status, with Hillcrest being the second high school. The first high school is Evanston High School. We have 43 different species of trees on campus.
People who help make this happen. Ecology Club members since 2019. Rosa Kelsey, Ecology Club sponsors. Dr. Buchanan, retired current administrative team. James King, head of maintenance crew at Hillcrest. Trinity Pierce, Martin Arboretum. Andrew Harrington, building and trades teachers.
You got it.
These are the, hold on. The village volcano bag, which is viewed on the left, and the proper material, which is no visible flare at the base of the trunk, which is at the very bottom.
So one of the main things that you learn when you're planting trees here is that most people like to build the volcano dome of mulch, which they like to call the volcano dome of death. You are to not do that to your trees. If you do have trees at home, what they would like you to do is to move all that mulch away and be able to actually show the flare of the trunk of the tree so that you can have proper water and sunlight to be able to, the tree to get the nutrients.
What's next? Ms. Kelsey is working on grants for a monarch butterfly garden.
And so the reason why becoming an arboretum was so important for us is because trees provide bountiful resources, not just for the environment, but for our community here at Hillcrest High School. By having access to so many different tree species, students and staff alike have the opportunity to educate themselves on the various types of trees in our ecosystem and the impact that they make on the environment we live in.
You speak for the trees.
That's it.
Thank you very much for the presentation and all the environmental work that you do with Hillcrest Ecology Club. Moving on, we have a report on our athletic trainers, Mrs. Morrison.
So before we go into next semester, I wanted to give the board a quick update. We will be going to bid for athletic training services next February or March. Right now, our current situation, we do not have a full-time trainer at Bremen. So we have been supplementing with different companies. We've had ATI cover a couple of games and practices, as well as a company called Trademark Performance. Essentially, we're just trying to cover games and practices that Athletico trainers are not able to provide us. So right now we're paying $45 an hour for those additional hours with the additional company. And then we'll be removing that money from our next contract payment with Athletico. So I just wanted to give the board a heads up. And you will see, hopefully we get some good responses. Right now, the current situation with athletic trainers, there are not a ton of them out there. So we're struggling just finding staff to fill some of those spots. But we are doing our best and just trying to fill in with whatever we can find, certified people that have the availability and are willing to help us out. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Morrison. FOIA requests, Dr. Spora.
Thank you, Mr. Whitcomb. Since the last regular board meeting, we've received the following Freedom of Information Act requests. Patrick Lee, Illinois State Volunteer for Change, the AIR Foundation, requested the latest IAQ and environmental testing report that includes mold spore sampling data for each of your schools. This request has been completed. Karen Garcia, Smart Procure, requested all current employee contact information, including first name, last name, position, title, department, direct phone number, business cell phone, email address, office address. This request has been completed. Thank you.
Do we have any board member reports this evening? Mrs. Gleason.
I just want to mention I was able to attend a meeting on Saturday of a student from Bremen who is a finalist for a Chick Evans Scholarship, which is a full tuition and room and board. And the young man presented himself extremely well, and as a board member, I was extremely proud of the many opportunities that we've given him. His list of activities, of clubs, and volunteer work says a lot about what we provide here, and hopefully he gets the scholarship. He's a great kid.
Thank you, Mrs. Gleason. Any other board reports? Ms. Motley.
So I had the opportunity to attend the joint annual conference from November 16th through the 20th. It was my very first time attending. I learned just a lot of valuable information that I'm excited to bring back. One of the sessions that I attended was a crisis management session that focused on reunification after an event. It was very eye-opening, so I'm excited to share that information out. Another one was community engagement, and that just kind of got my head going. Just identifying subject matter experts, if you will, for certain items. And one last thing, I wanted to thank the Bridge Teen Center for their partnership with our district. I know a lot of our student clubs participate in service projects there. I actually just attended a service project there last week with my job. 5 of my coworkers and I went, sorted bags. We were able to provide 3 students with free program for a year, so that was really cool. And the director she couldn't stop commenting on our students, so that was really awesome to hear from her. So huge thanks to the Bridge Teen Center. 30% of their funding comes from the thrift store that is attached, and I got this from the Bridge thrift store for $10 to support our students. So that's all I have. And happy holidays to everyone.
Anyone else, board member reports? Okay, moving on to new business, beginning with items 4.1 through 4.3. Mrs. Morrison.
Item 4.1 is the bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CPS bills. The superintendent is recommending these for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Motley, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Item 4.2 is the 2023 tax levy and resolutions. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Motley. Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Item 4.3 is the implementation plan authorization implementation for our wellness app that we're looking at right now. And the app is called Virgin Pulse, and it's run through a platform called Wellness IQ. We're hoping to have a March 1st rollout date with it. I've had the opportunity to do a couple of demos with the company, and I really want to get moving with it so that we can get it up and running for staff on March 1st. The first step of it, though, is signing this implementation plan. So this item is going to be recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Motley. Any questions?
No question, but it looks like an amazing program.
It is. It's really cool.
Roll call.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Ms. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye. Item 4.4, Mr. Bethel.
Item 4.4 is the Hillcrest switchgear bid recommendation, an alternate. There's a bit more information than typical recommendations, so bear with me as I read through this. Bids were solicited for work at Hillcrest High School for switchgear replacement required because of the electrical failure in September. Additionally, the bid solicitation included alternate bid requests for a cost to replace an existing 50 kilowatt electric natural gas generator and some electrical equipment distributing power to the building. Alternate number 1 was for a 250 kilowatt generator that would run critical systems throughout the building. Alternate number 2 was for a 550 kilowatt generator that would run all systems in the main building, excluding the field house. Finally, alternate number 3 was to replace an 800 amp electrical breaker panel that is at the end of its serviceable life. The architect and construction manager reviewed and checked bids for all required documentation. The low bidders were interviewed as to the equipment, manpower, and product lead time. Therefore, it is recommended that the board accept the low bid Department Electric Inc. and direct that a contract be issued to as follows. Number 1, base bid for the switchgear replacement work at a total of $274,025. Number 2, alternate number 2, for a 550 kilowatt generator at a total of $414,505. And alternate number 3, replacing the existing breaker panel for $36,705. The total cost of this work would be $725,235. We will submit the base bid total to our insurance company for reimbursement due to the electrical failure. This is being recommended for full board.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Motley. Any discussion, questions? So this generator will let the entire building, aside from the field house, run, and we can conduct operations as normal, should that happen again.
Correct.
Roll call.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye. Items 4.5 and 4.6, Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Whitcomb. Item 4.5 is an overnight field trip request for boys wrestling at Oak Forest High School. Students will not lose any school that day. It's a teacher institute day. This is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Motley, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Item 4.6 is the 2024-2025 school calendar with Teacher Institute on Monday, August 12th, and the final day of school, Friday, May 23rd. This is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Motley. Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye. Moving on to personnel recommendations, Dr. Goggins.
Thank you, sir. Under leaves, Ruba Sheikh, Jessica Bogash, and Patricia Angula. Under resignation, Alexa Pickett, Julie Hodges, Joshua Dirk. Under employment, Jack Mongan, Brianna Gill, Dahila Harrington, Crystal Gullich, Fabiola Munoz, Michael Sokolowski, Michelle Ramirez, Selena Rodriguez, and Alyssa Brender. And under additional employment positions, a district technology specialist. These are being recommended to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Motley, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye. Moving Moving on, public comment. Any comments from the public? There being none, announcements are as follows. The regular board meeting scheduled for next Tuesday, December 19th has been canceled. Our next committee of the whole is Tuesday, January 9th, 6:45 PM at Oak Forest High School. And our next regular board meeting is Tuesday, January 16th, 7 PM at Oak Forest High School. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Gleason, second by Mrs. Motley, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming, everyone.